I don't think President Trump is a free agent. Oh, I don't pay attention to what anybody says anymore. I simply look at what they do. Bottom line is, what is the ultimate outcome? The outcome is the same. So this is administration Biden number 2, right?
Douglas Macgregor just insisted that Trump's ceasefire in Gaza is actually a scam and that Gaza is doomed, with the genocide set to resume after lingering tensions have risen to being explosive during the course of this ceasefire. Let's get his take on this, and please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
You think this Gaza peace plan was a scam?
Oh, I think it's absolutely a scam. How else could you characterize it? Gaza is doomed. People keep saying, well, the war is over. Obviously, no, it's not. None of the objectives that the Israelis have established have been achieved. They control roughly half of Gaza. At least that's been largely demolished. And I suppose Kushner, Witkoff, and others are making plans to build luxury apartments or something there. But I wouldn't be so hasty in predicting that outcome. I think there's going to be more trouble ahead. So I don't see how you could characterize it in any other sense.
Yeah, I have to agree. The tensions haven't subsided generally because of exactly what he says. The Israelis haven't accomplished their goal. Yeah, they've destroyed Gaza. They wanted to do that, but they also want to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians, push them out and into Egypt or some other place, and they haven't accomplished that. This ceasefire, if anything, seems to have been a temporary reprieve to address some of the domestic criticism that Netanyahu was receiving from his masses that were protesting over this, getting the hostages back, which the populace wants and the government in Israel pretends to want, but they could have gotten these hostages way back in January during that first ceasefire agreement, the one that Trump orchestrated as he walked into office. Hamas was willing to continue the hostage exchange, but Netanyahu violated that ceasefire. So we're seeing that, the suppression of aid, which happened on the Israeli side because apparently the Palestinians were slow rolling the redelivery of human remains back to Israel. So they're going to punish the entire Palestinian populace again. This is just demonstrating that this is a genocide. They take the war to the Palestinians as a whole, not to the government. And yeah, human remains aren't nothing. That's important. But these are real living people right now suffering immensely because of the U.S.-Israeli relationship. So yeah, I'm with Macgregor.
The Vice President of the United States standing with the President's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and his good buddy and envoy, Steve Witkoff, in Israel just 2 days ago, talked about the redevelopment of Gaza. And you know how he referred to Kushner? The investor. No surprise, Colonel. No surprise at all.
Well, I don't want to call it a shadow government, but I think Kushner and Witkoff and others constitute the real government. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
That is the sad part. They have enormous influence in this administration, and if anything, the Trump ceasefire deal, if you read through those 20 points, point number 9 talks about this, how it seems to be of more utmost importance to this administration to economically redevelop Gaza, and not just to do that, fairly with free trade or competition as the orientation toward that aim, but actually giving away, preferential treatment to Tony Blair and other investors like Jared Kushner who want to build a Riviera on Gaza. This is what entices Trump, the businessman. And it's, completely at odds with what the region wants, with what the Arab states want in the region, which is a Palestinian state. They came up with that idea after the 2002 Beirut summit, and it's an easy plan. All it is, it's a 10-point plan, and it amounts to giving the Palestinians a state and normalizing relationships with Israel. Not having wars against Israel and having a Palestinian state. What do you know? Does Israel want that? No. They want to ethnically cleanse Gaza and get into wars with their Arab neighbors to displace those regimes, destabilize them in the name of the Greater Israel Project and the clean break strategy that calls for just abandoning any efforts toward peace and embracing efforts toward war and displacement. All with the United States funding it, of course, naturally.
It surely is. The Knesset yesterday voted overwhelmingly to apply Israeli domestic law to the West Bank, which is the functional equivalent of annexing it. And to my surprise, both Secretary of State Rubio and Vice President Vance used some strong language condemning it. Were you surprised?
Oh, I don't pay attention to what anybody says anymore. I simply look at what they do. So I wouldn't pay any attention to any of those statements. Let's see what actually happens. And I suspect the Israelis will have their way with the West Bank unless someone externally militarily challenges them.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. We have to look at actions rather than words, and they can be as direct or forthcoming or mad in their actions, just as Trump was after the 12-day war. Remember when he's like, these guys have been fighting each other so long, they have no idea what they're doing, Israel included. But yeah, the next day, you're still complimenting Netanyahu. You're not using U.S. leverage to withdraw aid. We know that that's a ploy to try to satiate the base and give people excuses to say, oh, he's playing 4D chess. This is the right way to handle it. No, get U.S. aid out of Israel. Period.
I don't think President Trump is a free agent. I still think that powerful figures, you can call them financial oligarchs, whatever you want to, donors, they continue to shape policy, and they very much exert control over him. The people that are shaping, deciding U.S. foreign and defense policy are very, very much the same in this administration as they were under the last. Now, you can debate fine points, but the bottom line is what is the ultimate outcome? The outcome is the same. So this is administration Biden number 2, right?
Hate to say it sure seems like it at times, especially when it comes to Israel and Ukraine, where despite all the theatrics, all the rhetoric, all the supposed clash of ideologies that Americans fought over at the ballot box, we still have the same general policies in both theaters. That does seem to be the case. And look, at one hand, I totally agree with Macgregor that Trump is being influenced by the lobbies, just as every president is, by the Israel lobby, AIPAC, Miriam Adelson gave him $100 million. He has the big bank lobbies and big pharma, big tech, big deep state, all influencing him. But his decision making was to surround himself with some of these deep state swamp monsters. Like Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz, he did that before Waltz was gone. And elevating Rubio to the national security advisor in addition to the Secretary of State, he's more powerful than maybe even Trump is in some regards. And then you have John Ratcliffe, the Mossad apologist, as the head of the CIA, bringing Mossad agents to advise the president on how to handle the Iran war. It's totally absurd. But that's what you get by sticking to the swamp rather than draining the swamp. Draining the swamp has become a meme at this point. America First is now a meme, of course, too, because obviously this is an Israel First administration to its very core. You can see that when it comes to Gaza, Israel could basically do nothing wrong. Nothing would make the U.S. aid to Israel unconditional. Trump's not willing to do it. And he pretended to be different. Biden was no different in this way. That's a symptom of our issues in the U.S. political system. It's not that Trump is a unique problem in this regard. It's been that case through presidential administrations through my lifetime. Trump's approach is just different. He's more bellicose. He's more bombastic. He's more incendiary. The media hates him more, of course. But if you really get down to the policies and you get down to what is being done in regard to foreign policy, it does seem remarkably similar. At the same time, though, I will critique this view and say, he deserves some of that culpability too. And by the way, Biden did too. Biden was a vegetable. Let's just all be real at that point. He was a deep state puppet. So it's not like, he had his wits about him. And that's why even the liberal establishment media was willing to take him down and say enough is enough. We can't even, toe this propaganda line anymore. He has to go and get replaced. Even they did that, but he deserved culpability too. If you're the president, you're supposed to be the one making decisions. And if you're unique, you're the one that's going to bring transparency and limited government, which never happened, not in Epstein, not in Doge. And, be America first. No, not in that regard. It's Israel first, Ukraine first, and Saudi Arabia first. That's what we get out of this administration. It's not different than others, but at the same time, if you're promising to be different, you deserve even more amount of the blame than you would otherwise have. But that's what I have to say about it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Am I right? Is Macgregor right? Is the Gaza peace plan doomed? Have any of these concerns been addressed? Will this continue despite Israel killing about 100 people so far? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also subscribe to Judge Napolitano. If you like this video, please consider becoming a member of mine if you would by clicking the join button below. You can do that to support the channel, and in return, I'll give you access to all my videos before they go live to the general public on YouTube. Also, if you want a free copy of my book, my first book, Compact of the Republic, it's my defense of the decentralized orientation of the original American Union that was perverted and turned into a world empire. Just click the link down below. You'll get that for free, no obligation whatsoever. It's all yours for free. And until I see you guys next time, no more war, no more debt, no more inflation, and no more empire. Peace out, guys. Catch you in the next one.